Easter Bunny come in? This happened to me a long time ago, but I think about it from time to time. And I've used this story to teach my kids to never open the door for people you don't know. I was a kid, and we lived in a really big old house that was part of an old farm. It was on a semi-busy road, but was rural. The house was pretty big and had a large formal living room with a large formal dining room right behind it. My mom was doing laundry in the very back of the house, and I was watching TV in the living room. There was a knock at the side door. I wasn't supposed to open the door, but I figured I could peek and see. I looked through the curtain on the side door, and I couldn't believe my eyes. It was the Easter Bunny. When he saw me, he did a little hop and asked me to let him in. I was kind of in shock and just stared at him. He was in a pink suit and had a basket with eggs in it. He knocked again and acted really impatient. He said, "Little girl, are you going to let me in so I can hide these eggs for you?" I wanted those eggs, but he was a stranger, right? But he was also the Easter Bunny. Can the Easter Bunny be a stranger? So I asked him who he was. He sighed and said, "I'm the Easter Bunny, and you have to let me in right now so I can hide my eggs. Invite me in. You have to or you won't get any." I reached out to unlock the door, but then I got a sick feeling in my stomach and decided I should probably check with my mom first. So I told him I was going to ask my mom real quick. He said, "No, you have to invite me in. I'm here to see you. These are for you." I thought about it, and he started to freak me out. So I yelled for my mom and ran to tell her. I run back to the laundry room and tell my mom there's a big Easter Bunny at the front door and he wants to come in the house. My mom laughs and says, "Okay, well, let me go see." So she walks to the front door, and of course the bunny is gone. Like, no trace of him. So my mom thinks I'm a big fat fibber and made me sit on the couch and think about being a liar. Hours later, my dad comes home from work and he tells my mom there was a robbery a couple miles away. A little boy had opened the door and a man had tied him and his mom up and robbed them. I found out years later that the guy had beat up the mom pretty bad. There was no mention of a bunny suit, but what better way to get a kid to let you in? That was strike one for that house. Strike two, the little girl. It was nighttime. My mom was cooking dinner, and again, I was in the living room watching television. Like I said in the first part, the house was very large. Our kitchen and dining room were kind of separated by a diner-type door, so Mom was in her own little world. I'm minding my own business when there's a knock at the door. I peek out, and it's a kid. She's bigger than I am, but she's still a kid. I thought it was weird that a little girl was at the door at night, so I opened it. The little girl was crying hysterically. She was covered in blood from head to toe. I ran and got my mom and told her there was a kid at the door. But man, my mom was not feeling me. She was still holding a grudge over the whole Easter Bunny thing or something, because she kept saying, "Are you sure it's real this time?" Damn, Mom. Then I remembered the blood and I told my mom, "She has blood on her hair and face." That made her drop everything and run to look. She saw the little girl and asked what happened. There was a car accident. It was right at the front corner of our property. It was a bad wreck, and I honestly don't even know how we didn't hear it. My mom grabbed a blanket and wrapped the girl up. She yelled at my dad to get off the toilet and come help her. She told me to call 911 and tell them there was a bad crash and people were hurt. My parents ran out to the accident and left the girl on the couch. I called 911, then peeked out to see if I could see anything. The car was upside down in our yard, and her dad was freaking out. My parents both tried to calm down the girl's parents. Time moved so slow. Finally, every cop, ambulance, and fire truck in town showed up. They got the situation under control, and my parents came back inside. Paramedics came and got the little girl. Of course, they weren't going to tell me anything because I was just a kid. But I heard my mom talking to someone on the phone. I'm guessing it was the dad. A few days later, the little girl had a broken arm and a broken leg. She had been so strong to be able to get help for her parents. And she was my hero for years. The dad had a concussion and a broken arm. The mom was pretty messed up. She wasn't wearing a seatbelt and had gone through the windshield. She had a massive head injury and kept asking, "Where am I? What happened?" over and over. She did survive though. That was strike 2. The traffic in the road was too dangerous for us kids to play outside. Strike 3, and we're out. I'm going to start this last part by saying there were a few other things that happened that I would say were paranormal, but this was definitely a creepy encounter. It was a Wednesday night. I only remember this because my dad played poker on Wednesdays and was never home until really late, like 1 or 2 in the morning. My mom and I were laying on the couch together, watching a show. My brother was very young and was already in bed. We had the lights off, but the TV was right next to the front door. I don't know when I first noticed him, but something made me look over at the window and the door. It had gauzy curtains that you could see through, but unless you were super close, it was hard to tell who or what was on the other side. I saw movement out of the corner of my eye, so my full attention turned there. I could see a man. He was wearing a cowboy hat and was fiddling with something in his hands. Now, this house was not close to anyone at all. Our nearest neighbor was over a half mile away, so there was really no chance that someone thought they were at a different house or some innocent mistake. I tapped my mom on the shoulder and slowly pointed at the full silhouette of a man very clearly holding a gun. My mom moved fast. She grabbed me and silently ran me into my brother's room and told me not to make a sound. She scooped up my brother and we ran down the back hallway into the kitchen where she grabbed the phone to call the police. But the line was dead. Cut or coincidence? I truly can't remember. I just know it didn't work at all. All we could do was pray. My mom dropped on her knees and we all 3 held hands while she prayed for intervention. Every once in a while, she would run to peek and make sure he wasn't in the house. He was trying to get the door open. After 3 or 4 minutes, we heard the unmistakable rumble of my dad's old Chevy coming up the road. It was only 7:30, and he was coming home early. The man must have heard it too, because at that moment, he took off. I hope he shit his pants when my dad's truck backfired. It sounded like a shotgun firing. Strike 3. We were out. That was it for my mom. She told my dad too much happened there, and he was never home. She couldn't stand the amount of worry we had in that house. That was a Wednesday, and we moved out on Saturday. We lived in that house for 3 months.